business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast.
Welcome to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. Every episode is an invitation, a reminder that business and life isn't just about profit, it's about purpose. It's about showing up with that servant's heart in every deal, every decision, every day. Boy, today's guest is going to light you guys up today. He's going to motivate you. He's going to challenge you. But more importantly, you're going to walk away with tools to inspire action both in your life and in your business. And before we dive in, here's your homework. How are you going to serve today, yourself, and others? It doesn't have to be big to make a big impact. Even a small act of kindness or courage can change the game. And above my right shoulder of my guest is work hard and stay humble. That's what servant hearts do. I had to add that because I love seeing that. So lean in, take notes. Let's discover how servant leadership in business and life can create ripple effects that last far beyond the bottom line. Quick shout out to my sponsor, Epic Impact, the 4-step storytelling framework that's transformed how I pitch, post, and podcast. If you're a coach, founder, or creative trying to connect with your audience and move them to action, this is your secret weapon of engaging, persuading, inspiring, and closing. I use it every day, and it works wonderful. AI alone can't tell your story, but paired with the proven Epic framework, it can move mountains. Get your free Epic Impact Starter Kit at epicimpact.com. That's a lot of epic impacts. I just noticed that. Excited to announce that Doing Business with Servant's Heart podcast hit top 20 in small business marketing of all podcasts. I want to thank the guests, especially my guest today and my audience, for helping make that impact, because that's the whole goal here. Whatever titles and labels we get, it's let's make an impact. Let's change people's lives every day. With that being said, my guest is changing lives. I did a background check on him, not through the cops, not through a PI, but doing some research. This guy gets it. In some industries that can be non-servant heart industries, he really gets how to be a servant's heart. So it's welcome to the podcast, Marcel. Welcome, my friend.
Appreciate you, Steve. Thanks for having me on.
What's transformation and entrepreneurship mean to you?
Transformation and entrepreneurship. Wow. I think the biggest thing about entrepreneurship is really understanding how you can impact people, throughout the world, throughout your community, throughout your home. So entrepreneurship does give you an opportunity to change lives from a whole lot of different perspectives, not only introducing new people to your business if you're an owner, but also actually leading with really good principles to let people understand that when you're an entrepreneur and you're a leader, that means you have a huge impact on those that are becoming behind you. So you can, when you get an opportunity to actually mentor young entrepreneurs and young leaders in the field, I mean, you're transforming entrepreneurship on a multitude of levels.
I like what you're saying here. Being an entrepreneur, like we laughed about serial entrepreneurship and all these pockets we have to have. When you're a servant leader and you're transforming people, when you have those bad times, those challenging days, that impact helps you, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, because it's important to see, the larger picture. In anything that I've created, anything that I've built, understand exactly where you're trying to go. So when you do have hard times, or if I fail forward, it's imperative that, I remember exactly what I'm trying to achieve, and with the people that are in my camp, what we're trying to achieve.
Thanks for mentioning fail forward. That's a phrase I haven't heard in a while. That's so important for entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs, I always have a hard time saying that word, because we're going to have challenges. And even if me and you owned $100 billion business, there's challenges, but an entrepreneur, you're on your own. So talk about when you're on your own, and when I work with entrepreneurs, about mentorship and how important that is.
Yeah, I really try to make sure that I surround myself with great talent. And even when I'm mentoring, I'm looking for certain aspects within that personality to see if, in fact, they do have what it takes to, push, that field forward. So I really look for perseverance, focus, um, the ability to actually see ahead, so conceptuality, definitely personality in itself, like is this person a people person? Like, can they transition from, the janitor to the president? Like those conversations. So I'm paying attention to those characteristics when I'm getting involved with mentorship. And it's my responsibility as a leader to make sure that I help them exploit that.
Yeah. You told me your superpower, and this lit me up when you told me that is people. Because I tell everybody we're in the people asset business. You got
Hmm.
to build those assets. Don't bring
Yep.
them down.
Hmm.
Why do you think that's your superpower, and how do you use your superpower?
Because I can see it. I can see all kinds of personalities.
Mhm.
I can spot talent a mile away. I definitely just understand how people are. And there a lot of, people are different, but in a lot of different areas they're exactly the same. So just really being able to quickly read personalities and understand, where they would fit if they're going to be in my organization, and or, the type of person that's in front of me overall. I've been able to do that for a very long time. And normally, again, it's very helpful for me because I really understand that there are only certain personalities that can actually, specifically in an organization, help you achieve the goals that you're trying to achieve. And find those A1, A plus personalities and skill sets is imperative. So I usually use that to my advantage. I only surround myself with the smartest, the brightest, the most intelligent. Like those words all go together, right? But yeah, like I always have people around me that know a lot more than me. I don't ever try to act like I'm the smartest person in the world or smartest person in the room. That's impossible. So everybody that I hire, everybody around me, they definitely have a level up in that area of expertise.
Your humbleness is so strong. I love that because you're right. If you're the smartest guy in the room, how can you learn?
Right.
Yeah, you can mentor, and I have no problem with mentors. You sound like you're a wonderful mentor. It's powerful. But here's the flip side of people, the negative challenges of people, the people that don't do their work, they don't take this, to challenge you. How do you handle? How could the audience learn from you how to handle that? Because that's a tough part of people.
And I try my best because I've always been about empowerment anyway, right? Like, so I usually always put the ball in their court, right? I learned that a long time ago from my manager when I used to work for Catholic Charities. Her name was Mary Road. I walked into her office one day and I was just giving her a litany of my problems. She let me finish, and then she said, "Marcel, I'm hiring you to solve problems, right?" So, you can't really walk in my office with, your problems because that's why you're here, right? So she was telling me, you can come in with the resolution to your problems, and I'll sign off on it, but don't walk in here with your problems. And that's exactly how I am. And I normally I mean, like I just hold people really, really accountable. So, I'm not into excuses. Excuses can't help any situation. Like that's one attribute that a lot of people have, right? They always want to point the finger. It wasn't me. It's not my fault. Like I'm not interested in that. Everybody knows that. I'm like, we all gonna have challenges. You're gonna have problems. I'm only interested in resolutions. That's it. Like, regardless of how we ended up here, tell me how we're gonna fix it. That's it. That's all I want to talk about. So that's how I really hold people accountable. That basically kind of, they might be waffling. Again, my patience though, as a leader, is short with that, right? So I've definitely, I'll probably give you one or two times where I'm just kind of like trying to help you figure it out. But on that third time, we're gonna have a really straight talk. Like, listen, maybe this might not be for you. Maybe you can't. I mean, if you can't figure it out, maybe we need to take another avenue because, again, like it's on your plate. You're here to resolve it. I need you to resolve it. If you can't resolve it, then that means you're not doing your job, right? Like, and that's not really on me. That's on you. So, like, you need to really take a look at where you are right now. Because if this isn't working for you, it's okay. You had to find something else that does work for you. But if this isn't working for you, let's figure it out. Let's move forward. So, like, again, putting people, giving them the power to make the right decisions, to me is the key. So even if they make a mistake, I'm like, okay, well, this is what we're gonna do next time. We can do it better.
Give the people the power to make the right decisions. That's a fantastic phrase. Audience, you gotta write that down. I'm gonna write it down. That's a game changer when you're managing people. Boy, so what your sports background? Play college football, Maryland, go Terrapins. I'm not a Terrapin. I always like to say, I don't know why, I just remember nicknames. But I love sports and business. I think there's so many bridges there. What was your background with sports help you with what you're doing today?
I think sports is like the manifestation of a lot of different things that happen in life. So I really think sports demonstrates the level of fortitude, perseverance, focus you have to have to achieve. Because when you're around a lot of different athletes, specifically like when you're as you go up the levels from, college to pro, everybody's good. So you had to really figure out, okay, like what's going to make me different? What's my best skill? So I think sports will challenge you in that area because you want to be the best of the best around a whole bunch of really good athletes. But at the same time, I think that again, what you see when you see teams win championships, that's the manifestation of teamwork, right? It doesn't. That's why I think basketball, football, those are two of my favorites because collectively it takes everybody to win a championship. You can have a star player, right? OKC did have the MVP, but he wasn't the only person on that squad to help them win this championship. So I think sports shows you that collectively everybody needs to get on the same page with one common goal if you're really trying to achieve the next level.
I love that. And that's what I love about sports because the same thing. You have a company, I'm your sales director, and I have a rock star sales guy. He's the superstar. He's not helping the others. It's not going to help, but he can go help the others, not worry about his quota, all that. You have a team that's going to blow up your business in a good way, in a bad way, right?
You're going to win.
You're a rock star. I'm getting it now why you're so successful. Somebody walks up to you, your audience is listening, and they go, God, Marcel, I want to be an entrepreneur. What kind of advice would you give me?
First thing, check yourself. Like this isn't for the weak. Like entrepreneurship is incredibly challenging because you do have to wear a multitude of hats. One minute you are the boss, the next minute you're marketing or your human resources or your customer relations or your accounting. Like when you do a startup, you're handling a multitude of things and you have to be able to definitely demonstrate calm under pressure because you're gonna be under a lot of financial pressure. You're gonna be under pressure from your own people, staff, building things takes a lot of work. So first of all, just figure out if you have the aptitude because a lot of us entrepreneurs, it's in our DNA, right? My dad was an entrepreneur. So it's in my DNA. I watched him. I became an entrepreneur because I had a visual path. I could see what it took. And then again, I'm a people person, right? So I navigate a lot of different businesses because I can talk to anybody. So your skill set has to be that's the number one thing I would say. A lot of people really think it's the finances. That's number two because you definitely going to have to have finance. Don't think you're going to walk to this business and you're going to get some SBA loan and it's going to be some easy cakewalk. It doesn't work like that, people. Like if your credit's not in a really good place, you're probably in trouble already because I've even now with a lot of multi-million dollar deals, I still most of the time have to sign off as what we call a personal guarantor, meaning that I'm still guaranteeing that if something goes wrong here, goes south, I'm putting my personal assets on the line. So there's a lot to this, but again, I always try to tell people, I can save you money by first helping you understand what it takes to be an entrepreneur because I think that 90 percentile of people businesses failing is because a lot of people just think you can just do it. Like, I got an idea, I'm gonna walk in here and I'm gonna make it happen. No, it's a really tough climb, and you're looking at 4 to 5 years of just not making real money if you want to cross that threshold. Now there are some businesses now in e-commerce that I think that they can scale a lot easier, but still, I mean it's a true commitment. So that's my first stepping stone. Check yourself.
Great way to start because not everybody should be an entrepreneur. Flat out, people listening out there, 8 to 5 is the way to go, or 9 to 7, whatever it is. Working for somebody is where you should be.
Yeah.
And I love that because check yourself. I'm going to borrow that. That's something I'm going to give you credit for sure. And the personal guarantee, what I call that audience, so you can kind of simplify it, he's putting his butt on the line. That's what he's doing. And it can be scary. I have entrepreneurs that want to diversify. I know people like focus, and I love diversification. That's why I love what you do. You're in stock market, you're a real estate developer, you're a cryptocurrency, completely different industries. You mentioned a little bit earlier, but how do you handle that and piece of advice for people that want to get into multiple industries?
Well, the thing about this conglomerate that I'm building, it was step by step, stone by stone, right? Like, so the commercial company is where I'm sitting now. I mean, I've owned this for 10 years, right? Before, and then I was doing real estate development. I was flipping houses when I owned this. So, but it was kind of more like what we call now a side hustle before I created a real company behind it. But my point here is I never jump from one thing. I don't try to do two really big things at the same time, right? I build and then I add. I'll start into another industry. Like stock market, me and all of my own investments. I've been doing that since I was like 19, 20, right? Through Fidelity. I've never had a broker. I was always able to buy my own positions. So I was learning that kind of like when I was in college. But these are things that I have going on different levels. But when it comes to business, it's one at a time. I would never advocate for trying to start two businesses at the same time. That's incredibly complicated. We know Elon Musk is doing it, but Elon has a whole fleet of people working for him, right? So he has incredible assets. You know, he could come up with an idea and he could dedicate a team to it. He's not the one in there building it. So building a business like from scratch is incredibly complicated. So I would not try to do two. So again, when you see my portfolio now, these are things that were built over decades, right? I didn't just start yesterday. So and as I mentioned, for every company that I own, I have really, really smart people running them, right? So that's the benefit of actually starting, from scratch and doing startups. When you're down everything about your business, it's always going to come in handy because at some point you have to let it go and let somebody else manage it, right? You
Yeah.
can't be in the business if you want to run your business. Running your business is totally different things. Now, when I'm out here and I'm talking about my companies, I'm generating business for my companies, but I'm not working in them anymore, right? I have managers that are working in them. So that's the point there. And you want to always make sure that, as you build, you're also putting great talent in place.
I've asked that question to a lot of people, entrepreneurs. A little technical difficulties, but that's okay. You're back and I'll
Yeah.
fix it. It's no big deal.
Okay.
What I love what you answered about to have multiple opportunities is the fact of don't do two big things at once. Dive into the stock market, pay 10% of your time is in that, but 80% is in commercial real estate or real estate developer in your case. So I love that because that's what Warren Buffett does. They started with dabbling, major thing, but they dabbled. And I love that because I'm going to use that again. You've taught me two great things. I love hosting podcasts because it's so passionate about helping and borrow resources. What he's telling you today, Marcel, audience, take it and run and share it with other people. He's not hiding this and it's my stuff. He's sharing this out to you so you can help others impact others, right?
Yeah, no gatekeeping. I think that's one thing that that's a promise I made to myself when I was coming up and really trying to learn about business and my first business. A lot of leaders weren't really helpful. They weren't. They were just, it seemed like when they were talking to me, they were giving me the bare minimum because they were worried about me being competition. And I was just kind of like, that's not okay because, you know, I can give you a formula, but it's still on you to execute on the formula, right? And there's enough money out here for all of us, right? You differentiate yourself in a lot of different ways. So to me, you always should pay it forward. Always. If you're fortunate enough to be successful in any industry, you have to pay it forward. That's how we all grow. And I just totally firmly believe that. And I told God, I was like, you help me out here and you help me be successful and you give me guidance. I promise you, I will be an open book. Ask me anything. We're good. You know?
Amen to that. You're a brother from another mother. That's exactly how I think because and it's happened. We're both very successful because we help and give as much as we can. We're coming to the end here. The book. I am excited to learn about your book. Now I know all about you. Tell us about the book title and when we can get it and all that.
Oh man, Hiding in Plain View. So it's a great book. You can find it
Mm.
anywhere on Amazon. It's an incredible read, very motivating. It'll definitely help you if you ever have challenges in life. It's a really real life illustration of some of the things that I faced when I was when I was in my valley, and my fortitude that helped me move forward and transition in life. So I think it's a great book, Hiding in Plain View. It's on every platform, Amazon and anywhere. It's audio book. Just plugging in to your Google or whatever you use as a search term, and just plug in Hiding in Plain View, and I promise you, you won't be disappointed.
We'll get the link to the book to make it easier for you as well, even though it's Marcel Clark. There aren't going to be a lot of those. You might type that in there.
There
You
you
probably
go.
get
I'll
all of
pop
you.
right up.
Last quick question. What's the piece of advice you give entrepreneurs, nugget, that you've given so many already, that you would give to the audience that's listening?
Always believe in yourself. You're going to have a lot of people on this planet that are basically in a box, and they're not going to understand you. They're not going to understand what you're trying to do. They're not going to believe in your dream. They're not. And sometimes it's inadvertent. They just don't understand. And a lot of people are built for 9 to 5. They're not going to understand you as an entrepreneur. But believe in yourself. Whatever your idea is, whatever you want, if it's calling you every night, that's God telling you. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Right? Don't waste your time doing something else, because life goes too fast. So believe in yourself, push forward, focus, and I promise you, one day you'll wake up and you'll be like, yeah, I did it.
Listen to the calling. Amen to God. Oh my God. And they come every day. And that's why you smile. I love it. Let's end with a fun question. I want to learn a little bit more about you outside of business. So I've got a reservation at a restaurant for you. Table of 4, and you're going to sit in one of the chairs. You've got 3 empty chairs. Who does Marcel invite, whether they're dead or alive? And what food is he ordering for the table?
Food. Oh yeah, it's gonna be steak and lobster and shrimp, and it's gonna be everything that's great out there. Who is gonna have I'm gonna have around my table? Most likely Notorious B.I.G. He's one of my favorite rappers. Um, Probably it might be Warren Buffett, because I mean he is such a guru in the stock market. If I could just pick his brain for a little while just to see how he comes up with some of these phenomenal positions, I would be elated. And maybe like Sylvester Stallone, because I'm a big Rocky fan. So I'm like,
Boy,
I just want to talk to him about his life, man. He was incredibly motivational to me when I was a kid. Those Rocky movies, man, had me ready to jump through the roof, you know?
da, da,
So I
da,
would
da,
love, I
da,
would
da,
love to
da,
have a conversation with him.
well, I mean, you mentioned Rocky, that song comes in your head every time.
Comes in your head, da, 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 da. Boy, these young people don't know. That used to get me going.
I love it. I'm going to sit at that table too. I'm bringing a 5th chair since I brought this to the table. God bless you.
Thank you,
You're
Steve.
successful. You're sharing with others. You've been a wonderful guest. Thank you for taking the time. I know people listening are going, how do I find Marcel? How do I reach out to him? How to connect? How can they do that?
MarcelClark.co. Like you said, Steve, if you plug in Marcel Clark, I'm gonna pop up anyway. You plug Marcel Clark the entrepreneur, I take over the whole page. But MarcelClark.co, that's my website. That's where you can find everything about me. And you can find me. I'll come out if you need me to mentor or you need to talk to me about business advice. My contact information is on there.
Beautiful. And I'll have that as well in the show notes for the podcast. And this handsome face, guys and girls, you can't miss it. So I don't know if he's married. We're not going to get into that, but you can't miss this face. It's wonderful. Hey, Marcel, thank you again. I appreciate you taking the time and just being a wonderful person. Audience, subscribe to the YouTube channel because you're going to get this link. But here's why you subscribe. And any other podcast. It's truly a gift. We talked about impact. That's all Marcel talked about today is impact, how he's learned and he's sharing with others. Well, that's what podcast does. You're listening to this link or this show with Marcel. You share it with somebody and they get inspired or motivated. And me and Marcel may never hear about it, but you will because you gave the gift. And God wants us to give gifts and empower people as much as we can. So subscribe to my YouTube channel or others or podcasts, and share and listen and enjoy. Me and Marcel want to thank all of you for watching or listening to this podcast. We'll see you on the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone.